Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors, and I'm the chief of the tribe at Best of Us Investors. That's our Discord. This is not clickbait. I am selling Apple to buy AbCellera, and I want you to understand why. It's to maximize the return on my investment. I believe that AbCellera will give me a greater return in a period of time than Apple will. And I'll walk you through and show you exactly why I believe that and explain to you who AbCellera is and how you can learn more about it so that you can decide, hey, does that make sense or doesn't it? Does it mean I'm giving up on Apple? Oh, no, not whatsoever. And in fact, I will do a video later this week explaining to you how I'm going to invest even more in Apple, but not in Apple. I know that doesn't make sense, but I will make it perfectly clear later this week. Okay, let me basically tell you what I plan to do. I plan to sell $10,000 worth of my $90,000 worth of Apple. And I intend to invest that $10,000 into AbCellera. Currently, I have a very small position in AbCellera in Nita and I's joint account. I have about 140 shares, which currently has a value of about $1,200. But I'm going to up that to more than 10,000. I want to walk you through the strategy. I want to walk you through my research and my analysis and let you make a decision. Does this make sense? Not only on Apple and AbCellera, but does it make sense on some of the other investments that you hold in your portfolio and how you might consider analyzing them relative to maximizing the return on your current investment? All right. This is not financial advice. This is going to be some of the best financial education you're going to receive. We'll get right to it.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Let me show you this little Excel spreadsheet I created. And what it's basically saying is I'm putting $10,000 into play. And it's $10,000 that's currently in Apple. I have a target price to sell it a little higher than it is today at $150 a share. That means I'm going to sell 67 shares. With that $10,000, I intend to buy AbCellera at $8.10 a share. That will yield me $1,235 a share. I believe in a period of time that each of these stocks, after we get through this fear of inflation, fear of higher interest rates environment, they will both regain prior pricing. And that is, I believe that Apple will reach its past November high of $183 a share or gain $33 a share, which would net me a gain of $2,211, as opposed to, I believe that AbCellera will get a raise in price from the $8.10 that I'm going to buy it out to $26.50, which will be $18.40 per share, which will give me a gain of $22,724. So rather than hold Apple, but to buy AbCellera, I will come out with a actual gain over the two holds of $20,513. That's my logic. Okay. How did I come to that conclusion? Okay. What I basically did was I woke up yesterday and I saw that AbCellera was up 13% that morning. What happened? Well, how do I find out? Well, what I do is I go to my Seeking Alpha subscription. And let me show you what I found. So this is my Seeking Alpha report on AbCellera. And the first thing that catches my eye is it's down 66.3% for the year. So it's a bargain. And then I come down here and I see that AbCellera discloses a 487,000 share purchase. And I click on that and it gives me the story, and it says that a company by the name of Thermopylae Holdings has bought 480,000 shares, and they were already a 10% owner, and thus they have to report that. And as it says, that was in dollars. The actual shares were 64,545 that they bought on June 6th at a price between 744 and 755. So, and it's currently selling then at $8.39. So they've made some money on it. I'm going to set a target price on it, but I need to raise the money. So in order to do that, I'm going to sell some Apple. This is my chart on Apple, and as you can see, it's down almost 25% from its November high. I really don't want to sell it here because you can see it gapped down today. Where I'd like to sell it is about $150 a share, and I'll explain to you my logic on this in detail. And then I want to go over to AbCellera. And as you can see, AbCellera is a very depressed stock. Back in, well, let's move it over here. It had a high. Let's don't talk about the intraday high. Let's talk about a closing high. It closed at 61 back in December of 20. And then with the fall of the market and fall of the favor of speculative companies, it's come down substantially. And you can see when the news came out that Thermopylae bought the shares, it had a spike up, actually spiked up to as high is about $9.13, and now it has come back and it's currently at $8.40. But it gapped here, and it left the gap at $8.10. So I'll probably try to buy it at $8.10 from the money that I raised by selling my Apple. Am I giving up on Apple? By no means. But what I am the belief of is the $10,000 worth of Apple that I'm going to sell can make me more money in the short term here than it can in Apple. So I believe that AbCellera will retrace itself and at least get up to about $26 a share, probably within the next year. I just don't, and that will give me a handsome return. Okay, but just what does AbCellera do? Why would I have confidence that it could regain that price and give me a tenfold greater return than holding my Apple shares? Why? How do I come to that conclusion? Well, again, I go back to Seeking Alpha. I go to find people who have done research, done analysis work, and are willing to educate me. And as I say, I find that on Seeking Alpha. Let's take another look. Okay, so what exactly does AbCellera do? Again, I'm going to go back to my Seeking Alpha, and I'm going to page down here, and I'm going to come to the company profile. AbCellera Biologics develops antibodies discovery platforms. It's a full-stack artificial intelligence-powered antibody discovery platform, searches and analyzes the database of the natural immune systems to find antibodies that could be developed as drugs. As of December 31st, 2021, the company has 156 discovery programs that are either completed, in progress, or under contract with 36 partners. What that basically is telling me is they have 36 pharmaceutical companies that they're working with, and these 36 pharmaceutical companies have hundreds of lab technicians who are inputting data, and then AbCellera is analyzing that data through artificial intelligence and helping these 36 pharmaceutical companies come to a conclusion more efficiently and more rapidly. Think about this. If you're a pharmaceutical company and you have 200 people, 200 lab technicians working on a antibody for a virus, and they input their information and maybe sit down around a conference table and say, I tried this and I tried this, and have you tried this or have you tried that? Well, AbCellera has created software that does all that and basically says, and then puts artificial intelligence and machine learning into it and says, okay, if you've done this, then try this. So we know this works because this is how the virus for the coronavirus or the antibody for the coronavirus was developed. It's using artificial intelligence. It's using everything that they've learned for the last 20 years to make a decision today. As this process gets better and better, and that's what it will do, get better and better, it becomes more efficient and more valuable. This is artificial intelligence at its best. And we have learned as a result of the coronavirus, this is something we have to survive as a civilization. So that's what AbCellera does. That's why I feel it's a good move on my part to move 10,000 from Apple to AbCellera. Now, how do I know all this about AbCellera? As you can see here on Seeking Alpha, they have articles that are written by analysts, and these analysts either give it strong buys, holds, or sells, strong buy, whatever. If you'll read these articles, and that's what I do, they explain in detail what I just explained to you. So I just don't see, if you want to be a good investor, how you can get by without this. Now, I've made a deal with Seeking Alpha to get you a 50% discount on it. But let's talk a little bit more about my strategy of selling Apple in order to buy AbCellera. I went through this exercise because I think we are all sitting right now and we're getting beat up as a result of what I believe is some mismanagement, some over-exhilaration over the $9 trillion that was fed into the economy here in the United States from roughly, I guess, March, April, May of 2020 through December of 2020. $9 trillion. That's a 40% increase in our money supply. And it's funny money. And that through some over-evaluations. Now, that money has to be flushed out. And it has to be put in a position so that we then can move on to the next change. I have firmly stated, I believe the greatest change that we are going to see is as a result of artificial intelligence. The ability to put all the knowledge that we've accumulated in mankind into a computer and then add to it on a day-to-day basis to make better decisions. And I think the overall best place for that is going to be in the greatest area of exposure that we currently have. What is that? That is healthcare. That was proven to us as a result of the coronavirus, that we could bring our economies, our civilizations to their knees if we don't move from healthcare to health cure, if we don't move from globalization to controlling our own destiny within our healthcare. So I look at AbCellera and I look at Apple and I say, who is going to give me the greatest return on my investment, not only in the long term, but in this short term? And when I say short term, I mean 3 to 5 years. Now, does that mean that Apple is kicked to the curb? No, I still hold about $80,000 worth of Apple, and I will sell some of that Apple to buy into Apple's next big thing. What? I'm going to sell more Apple to buy into Apple's next big thing, because Apple's next big thing, other than their position in healthcare, is going to be an electric vehicle. I will not invest in car companies because car companies don't make money. But I will invest in Apple's venture into electric vehicles via other companies. And I'll explain that to you in detail later this week. Or I guess at this point, it might be next week. So this is how I think. I look at Apple and say they are a behemoth. But how can I double my money? Can Apple go from a $1 trillion company? I think that's what, or are they at $2 trillion now? Can they double in size in a period of time that maybe the company that's going to make their guidance system on their new car? I think that company has greater potential through its association with Apple. And that's what we're going to talk about in the future. But right now, go to Seeking Alpha, learn what I learned about AbCellera, and see if maybe you don't have something that isn't going to give you the rate of return over the same period of time as what AbCellera is going to give me. All right, that's how I think. I don't really care what inflation is. And my point on inflation, and I'll beat this drum, is if you don't like the gas prices you're paying, why don't you pay half price? Just sit in a passenger seat and carpool and agree, hey, I'll pay for half of your gas. And then next week, you can pay for half of my gas. And then what if you put two guys in the back seat? And now the gas doesn't cost you the $50, you divide it by 4. That's how you beat the gas companies. Just think back. What was the price of gas when you were sitting at home and not buying it? And who do you think is holding the price of gas up? Well, what would you do? You lost your butt selling gas in 2020 and 2021, and now you have an opportunity to raise the price. What would you do? Okay, that's how I think. Tell me what you think in the description, but I probably won't see it because of all the bots that show up there. Come on, Google. You've got the ability to get rid of those bots. Get rid of them so this becomes what you planned it to be. Talk to you again tomorrow.